You may have needlepoint charms hanging from your bag. You may have a needlepoint handbag, but have you ever done this? Watch me take these darling What a Gem canvases in each of my boys' birthstone colors and transform them into a bag you've never seen. I started by taking some extra canvas and pinning the gemstones to them so they had a little bit of a substantial backing. I have a ruby heart for my youngest, I have a peridot square for my middle, and I have a citrine that was actually supposed to be a garnet, but I changed the colors out to make it a citrine for my November oldest baby. Once I pinned the canvases to the actual fabric canvas, I sewed each of the gemstones to the canvas. I sewed it pretty close, but not directly up against the actual stitches. Here you can see the gemstones once I sewed them to the canvas. I had made copies of them earlier so that I could cut these gemstones out to help me trace on the bag where I wanted to sew and cut. I laid the gemstones out on the bag just to play around with where I wanted them to be. Then I turned the bag inside out so I could draw on the bag where I was going to cut the holes. I ended up cutting the copies right up to the stitch line so that I could know exactly where I wanted the cutout to be. Here you can see each of the shapes are drawn on and ready to be cut. I just used a standard X-Acto knife, and I definitely started sweating here because once I did the first cut, there was no turning back. Here you can see each of the cutouts ready to go. Before I started sewing into them though, I wanted to touch up the edges, so I used some red Liquitex to just paint the edges that were open so that they would blend into the gemstone. Once I impatiently waited for that to dry, I just simply used some artist tape to help me hold the gemstones in place before I started sewing. I wasn't sure if I was going to use white or red, but I'm glad I used red because it ended up blending in, and the stitching of this was extremely difficult and not perfect, but we are not looking for perfection, we're looking for personality. My machine struggled a little, but I think that's my fault. I probably should have put in a new needle, but I didn't. And voila, here are my baby boy's birthstones forever enshrined on my Goyard tote. Needlepoint bag charms, very cool. Monogram painted bags, also très chic. But this needlepoint charm is taking it to the next level.